Hello everyone, welcome back to my winter top 10 fragrances, and I'm going to be joined by the lovely Claire, and she's going to give us her opinion on some of the fragrances, all of which I've sprayed on cards here. What do you think of that one, Claire?
Reminds me of a sad, balding, middle-aged man wearing a fake Rolex watch, going through a midlife crisis, quite badly dressed.
Hello everyone, welcome back. So yes, it's time for my top 10 men's fragrances for winter 2018/2019. As you can see, we're filming this in December, and I hope you like our tree. I'm joined by the lovely Claire, my girlfriend Claire from the Smurfy Girly channel, and I think just to make it a bit different this year, for the first time in a seasonal top 10, I'm going to get you to rate each one, as well as give you my opinion. Okay. It's going to be fun because me and Claire often like the same things, but just as often don't. So there's going to be definitely a few that I think are going to be thumbs down and hopefully some thumbs up too. So I'm doing it in reverse order, 10 to 1. Importance of the order, not that big, but here we go. For what it's worth, number 10 for me then, this is going to be this one, Bentley for Men Intense, from the house of Bentley, an eau de parfum fragrance. Some of the notes in this one are rum, patchouli, there's a little bit of incense, there's quite a lot of woodiness, it's very boozy, it's very rich, there's vanilla in there, and it's a very heavy, quite daring scent, which some people say is more like a niche fragrance than an inexpensive designer one. I've pre-sprayed them all on strips here. So Claire, what do you think about this one?
I don't like it, which you know.
Yeah.
Because I slated it in my last video.
Yes, I'll put a link to Claire's video where she said fragrances of mine that she can't stand.
Yeah.
It's quite entertaining.
It's just, the only problem for me is it's too much patchouli. I'm not a massive fan. In fact, I'm not really a fan of patchouli. I only like it in tiny doses. And to me, this is overdone. And therefore, to my nose, it just takes over everything else. So I can't really appreciate any of the other qualities of the fragrance.
Okay. I should mention there's also a certain leatheriness in there as well. I really like it because I like the note of patchouli. It reminds me of sort of a little bit of old-fashioned things like Givenchy Gentleman, but which you don't like either. But a bit more of a slightly more modern niche twist, and I like the booziness that's in there, but it is a daring scent, so I can totally understand that it's not going to be for everyone. So not a definite crowd pleaser, and you've been quite polite in your, sometimes you really don't like it, and I don't wear it much, sadly, but I like to know it's there. So Bentley for Men Intense, daring, but a really good one. Moving on then, I'm actually not sure what you'll say about this one. Gucci Guilty Absolute. So I'm pleased that both these two so far have been relatively recent releases. I've got some retro stuff in here, but not too much. Gucci Guilty Absolute came out in 2017, and I really like it. What do you think about that one?
Okay, I have kind of mixed views of this one. But when you wore it the other day, I did really like it. I think it's smoky and woody. It's a very, very vetiver-y in a smoky way.
Yep.
I give Gucci props for putting out something that is probably really, really polarising. It's not going to be for everyone. Actually, it is quite nice. It's smoky and woody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it really, but it does smell quite good.
Agreed. Some of the notes in this one, I think there's a lot of vetiver and patchouli, but not the kind that's obviously bugging you too much. So a lot of patchouli and leather. Some people say it smells like a Band-Aid. It's smoky, woody.
I can get that.
Right, yeah.
In the UK we call it plaster, by the way.
Plaster, sticking plaster, yes. So there's a kind of a hint of some kind of medicinal or TCP twinge to this, which not everyone's going to like. So it's daring, it's a bold release from a designer house, really nice performance, manly, deep. What are we looking for, by the way, for winter? We're looking for richer, deeper, more woody fragrances, and not so much the fresh, citrusy, aquatic stuff that we might prefer in the summer or spring. But all this seasonal stuff, it's only these fragrances feel winter like. You can wear anything any time of year, but we both agree that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I really am taken with it and just recently added it to the collection.
Definitely grown on me, that one, because I was a little bit on the fence about it, but yeah, I do like it.
It's like that, isn't it? It's one of those you might not like it at first sniff. Give it another try if that happened to you. So that was number 8. Number 9 then. Sorry, that was number 9. This is number 8. It's going to be another designer release. There are some niche coming up. And this one's Dunhill's Icon Absolute. So we both like the original Dunhill Icon, which is a fresh scent. This one has saffron. There's a bit of oud in there. There's quite a lot of pepperiness. It's quite a dark, woody, nighttime appropriate type of scent. And again, we've both been back and forth, haven't we, about whether we like it.
Yeah. So you wore this one yesterday.
Yes.
And in the air, if you're not smelling it right up close like this, in the air, just coming off of you, it smelled almost Creed-like in that kind of woody, sort of ambergris, fresh way. Up close, it's much more peppery, woody. There's that hint of leather.
Yeah, leather I forgot to mention, isn't it? Yeah.
A touch of earthiness, sort of mineral earthiness, a bit like wet pavement. Okay,
interesting. So yeah, but quite an interesting complex scent. Definitely woody. I think earthy is actually a good word, and there's meant to be some oud, but it's not. You're not a fan of oud, but it's not enough to put you off. So if you're dubious about oud, you probably won't pick up on tons. And the saffron note, I'm not quite sure.
Saffron would give it a slightly leathery feel, but should also have a sort of a spiciness as well.
So really nice if you're looking for something inexpensive, because you can pick this up for great prices. Performance not the best on that one, but we find it okay.
It was definitely, I was noticing it on you for at least 4 hours.
Oh, okay. Some people keep saying, it's really bad performance, but we found it to be at least okay, actually.
Yeah, well, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And that one I think would make a really good Christmas gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look how amazing
the bottle design is stunning. This is the 50ml, and the 100ml is the same but taller. It's got a wonderful effect there, and it feels really heavy and expensive, but it's not. So that's great. Okay, moving on. First niche one then. So I think this is number 7, and this is going to be the perennial favourite of many people for when it comes to a gourmand fragrance or beast mode kind of coffee-esque smell. Intense Cafe from the house of Montale. So how would you describe? I'll let Claire describe some of the notes and smell on that one.
So
and how much you like it.
I know this really well. I do love the way this smells. It's mostly rose and vanilla, a hint of coffee. It's almost like you're sat at a cafe. You've got a cup of latte in front of you. You've got a big vase of roses and some vanilla cookies. It's kind of like that, and it's like that from start to finish.
Yeah, doesn't change much, does it?
No, it doesn't change much. That's my only complaint, because I like things to change, but it does smell really, really, really good, and it's strong performance. When you spray it on your skin, it's oily, and it really lasts.
So perfect comforting scent for winter. Rose, vanilla, bit of coffee, beautiful, bit synthetic, very strong performance, but still in my top 10 for this winter, and I think you used to like it a touch more than you perhaps do now.
Yeah, when I first started my fragrance journey, as soon as I discovered this fragrance, I was madly in love, had to have a bottle. And now I don't reach for it quite so much, although whenever I do, I think, why don't I? So it is really good.
And one of the most unisex ones in the list so far. The others, everything can be worn by men and women, of course, but the others definitely a little bit more masculine in their feel. Next up then, another recent designer release, with a great bottle design, L'Envol de Cartier. So this one came out either last year or the year before, and it has a rather breakable looking but beautiful bottle design like that, with a kind of outer bottle and then the inner one. And the smell on that one is rather delightful. I think we've got honey, a kind of mixture of honey and musk is what a lot of people say. Maybe some lavender.
Violet leaf.
Some people have mentioned violet leaf, and some note listings mention it and others don't, but we both pick up on that.
As soon as I smell it, every single time, I'm reminded of Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
It's not the same as Fahrenheit.
No.
But it smells quite close to Fahrenheit. It's not got all the components, but yeah, I really like this one. It's really good.
So just a passing similarity, but I do agree with the Dior's Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But it's sweeter, isn't it?
Yeah. There's not so much of that kind of tarry note.
Oh no, no, it doesn't have that
It's
element.
more easily worn in, more mass appealing probably than Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and definitely a strong honey note, quite sweet and sensuous, and again, very unisex leaning, that one, isn't it? Although
Yeah,
it's
I would
marketed.
happily wear that.
Yeah, but great for men too. So really soft, sensuous and interesting release from a designer house, and this one is the Eau de Parfum, marketed towards men, but ladies, you may enjoy that one. So we're halfway there, we've got 5 left. The order, I'm going to swap those two around a little bit. I'm going to put that one there. Okay, next up then we're going to do Naxos by XERJOFF, one that Claire helped me discover. And I'm actually going to be honest, I'm going to be wearing a lot of this clone of it by DIOR Fragrances, and their version is called Fortune. So DIOR, famous for making clones of niche fragrances. Sometimes they perform even more strongly than the niche ones, which is great when it's a really weak niche one. This one pretty strong in the first place, but DIOR's version very hard to distinguish and also has terrific performance. So I've actually sprayed the DIOR one, Fortune, on here, but we're really talking about the smell of Naxos as being the same. So what do you think about this scent, Claire?
Yeah, when I first smelt Naxos, I was head over heels in love again. It is an instant love when you smell it. It's rich and sweet. It's kind of citrusy, but there's a honey.
Cinnamon,
yeah.
citrus opening, yep.
It's kind of...
Tobacco, isn't it?
Yeah,
Big
tobacco,
one.
yeah. Really smooth, very, very mass appealing. Just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Another one that doesn't change very much though, and that's why sometimes I get a bit bored of it. The performance is outstanding, and sometimes you get to about hour 6 or 7 and you think, I wish this would just do something else.
Yeah. Good problem to have though if you're one of those people who like strong performance. So yeah, really nice, either the DIOR one or the original beautiful tobacco and sweetness mixture. Again, pretty unisex, that one. And the next one, again, you could say it's pretty unisex, and this one is Aura Sublime from BIJON. You were sent this really free, or they sent it to us, didn't they?
Yeah.
After we picked it out as our mutual favourite. Is it lots of vanilla and tonka?
It's all about vanilla with myrrh and resins. The opening is a bergamot and lemon, and that reminds us both of Lyra by XERJOFF. But when the citruses start to subside, you just are left with the most delectable dark vanilla and myrrh and resinous combination. It's just stunning. I think it's one of the best vanilla-centric fragrances I've ever smelled.
Yep.
And the performance is outstanding.
Lasts ages. Don't think I've got anything to add to that. I totally agree. Men and women can wear that one. Great performance. One of the best vanillas out there. But a little bit sophisticated, isn't it?
It's quite
Classy.
sophisticated, I think, yeah. And it's called Aura Sublime, and I would say in this circumstance, what you get on the label is exactly what you get. It really does give you that sublime aura. Love it.
I totally agree. So check out Aura Sublime from BIJON. Into the top 3 then. Number 3, it's going to be from the house of DIOR, and this is DIOR Homme Parfum. So the Beast Mode DIOR Homme Flanker. There was DIOR Homme, then there was DIOR Homme Intense. If you wanted to go one further than that, DIOR Homme Parfum. So of course iris a keynote, a bit more leather and woodsiness than the original DIOR Homme in this one. Do you like that one, Claire?
You know I like it.
True.
I love it. So you can really smell the iris at the moment on the paper.
Yep.
But what I love actually is once the iris kind of fades, and it's more about this masculine, woodsy, salty, just
savoury, salty,
savoury, sexy.
Sounds weird.
Thing that comes through a bit further on in the fragrance. I mean, it's great to start with, but it is closer to DIOR Homme Intense at the moment on the paper. But it just changes on your skin and it becomes more masculine and just really, really sexy.
So yeah, it's this famous
Love
kind
it.
of waxy lipstick-esque note, if you're not familiar. That is the key thing about DIOR Homme in general, and it's a very intense version of that fragrance with a bit more leatheriness and masculinity and woodiness, but still this unique smell which is created by the iris note. And once you try it, it's hard to forget this smell.
And if you do try it, don't just dismiss it or don't just smell it on paper. Try it on skin and pay attention, because I want you to see how bloody amazing it gets once you get further down the timeline.
It's got a real trajectory, and it changes a little bit, and like a good fragrance should.
Really good.
Beautiful stuff. Okay, about time we did something we disagree on. So I decided to put at number 2, just to be stubborn, a real perennial favourite of mine, and that's Chanel's ANTAEUS, first released way back in 1981, I think. So this one has a kind of fresh opening with bergamot and juniper. There's a lot of leather in this fragrance, and there's also some oak moss, a whole ton of notes, castoreum, which is an animalic note from the nether regions of the beaver, which can be a bit leathery as well. So very masculine, but as with all Chanel's scents, it's got this refinement to me that still makes it quite, you know, you could wear it in a smart suit, and I think it works brilliantly. But Claire, I'm not sure you agree.
Yes. It's not really me. It definitely reminds me of quite a lot of the things that you like. So it does smell dated to me. If someone was wearing that around me, I would think that they are wearing something that's been on their shelf for 20 years.
This is a modern bottle, by the way. It's not a vintage one, so it's relatively recently made. But yeah. I
don't think the animalics are overdone in here.
No.
It's not like Kuros where you really can smell the castoreum. It's just giving it an undertone of something to make it a bit more interesting. But yeah, it just smells a bit old-fashioned. I mean, you can smell florals in there as well. You could say it's quite interesting because there's quite a lot of layers to the fragrance, but not a crowd pleaser.
Unlikely to be a huge crowd pleaser or a safe bet or a date night fragrance.
Or a panty dropper.
Unfortunately not. So yeah, so really good 80s powerhouse if you like that kind of thing, but definitely one for people who have acquired the taste for those things, and not necessarily a crowd pleaser. But finally, I'm glad to say that in the number 1 position this year, I'm going to go with one that me and Claire I think agree on, and this is the fabulous Spice and Wood from the House of Creed. So Bois de Portugal, one of my favourites from Creed, but I've decided to leave that out this year, and it's a bit of an all year round smell to me. Could be considered a wintry one. This one, as the name suggests, spicy and woody, perhaps some vetiver in there. There's cinnamon and apple, and quite a lot of sort of warm, slightly sweet spiciness. And you're probably going to
pepper in as well.
You're going to describe it better than me, I think.
It's very smooth. You can smell the freshness of the apple, giving it a lift. In the dry down, you definitely get vetiver. It's not listed as a note, but we both believe that there's vetiver in there. It's just gorgeous. It's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit smooth. There's this woodiness. It's a bit like kind of like a cedar wood. They're just almost like a sawdust kind of, you know, clean woods.
Yeah. Crisp woodiness.
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's got that nice spiciness. I think that there's cinnamon in there. So just slightly. It's not mega seasonal. It has to be winter, but it does work quite nicely in the cooler weather. The spiciness, perhaps, you know, you associate that with Christmas and mulled wine.
And the apple.
You get. It's the time of year when we get sweet things and spicy things are more appropriate. So we think it's, if anything, a good one for winter.
Definitely.
But I have worn it on summer holidays too.
But it's not too heavy. It's not like, if you know Hermes Amber Narguilé. And it's not like Rosé All Day, which has some notes in common. They're quite heavy and boozy and
Gallagher
rich.
Fragrances, Rosé All Day.
This isn't rich. This is a translucency, which is why I really like it.
Yeah.
It just kind of jumps off your skin and it fills the air, but you can still smell the rest of what's going on in your life, but you just also smell the beautiful fragrance.
A nice performance for us on this one. So the House of Creed, of course, a niche house, one of their more expensive offerings, very expensive, and we've both really grown to love this one. And if you're looking for a classy signature scent, maybe the next step up, if you like, Aventus. We think this is even, well, we both quite like Aventus, but it's not our favourite. This one now maybe is one of our favourites.
Yeah, that's my favourite Creed, 100%, and I've worn that myself and I love it.
Enough said.
Yeah.
That's going to be the end for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for watching the video. We hope that you are going to have a great winter this year and going into 2019, a great festive season. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Oh, and don't forget, So let me know what you thought about the choices here in the comments down below. Until then, see you next time. Bye bye.
Mr Smelly.